Okay, welcome back aviators to the next leg of this South Africa tour. I have a new microphone and headset. The old one was falling apart, so it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the sound and everything. So hopefully it's all going to work nicely. We are, of course, in Upington, heading northwards to the border and Bokspits, about 96 nautical miles away. Of course, once again, BN2 Islander, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Let's get ourselves underway. It's another reasonably nice day here in South Africa as we taxi on out for a northerly departure. I'm going to take, I mean, we could take off on this runway, but it's clearly got this is not a runway anymore markings on it, so we're going to do things properly and head on over to the other runway, which is obviously a newer runway that they've built. Won't need the full length for this. We can literally just take off. I mean, the runway is about 16,000 feet long. That's nuts. No idea what they fly into here to have a runway that big. Yeah. Getting some little micro stutters. I just think my computer's playing up a bit at the moment because it keeps doing these like freezes within not even on Microsoft Flight Simulator, like within Windows. I want to open just like a document and it'll freeze. Nothing will happen. And I haven't really got to the bottom of what's actually causing it, which is a bit of a pain. I've done all the obvious stuff like check obviously the system diagnostics and everything, and nothing seems to be untoward. So I hope it's not like a failing hard drive or memory or something like that, but I just don't know at the moment. It's a bit of a pain. Right, let's just we can pretty much depart straight out. There we go. Let's get a bit more on our centre line. I did put the flaps out, didn't I? Hopefully. Oh, what I didn't do was set the... God, you idiot. I would do that once we're airborne. And rotate. There we go. Now I've got to set my autopilot. Speed, altitude. There we go. Point gauge. Heading mode. Up, please. Flaps up. Set the altitude to 6,000 actually. And there we go. Turn those lights out. As we leave behind Upington, as I said, we're heading northwards. I really want to redo these wing cam reviews because you don't really see a lot, so I might revisit that at some point. Although this is what you would actually see looking out the window, obviously. Okay, so we need a track of some fire lines. So we're pretty much on heading. We've got quite a strong headwind, and that you see, yeah. I'm just over on a little nav map on my other screen, and it's working anytime quickly. So we'll want to land. In fact, actually, I've just realised. I didn't realise this, but the place we're heading towards is actually just inside Botswana. So I made a bit of a mess there. When you zoom out, it looks like it's still in South Africa. But I'm actually just going to... Although, yeah, I'm sure most of you won't even know, but I'm actually flying just inside Botswana. There's like a little hook down on the border. So yeah, literally like a couple of 100 metres inside Botswana. It's quite interesting actually. So literally surrounded by 3 sides by South Africa, and there's like a little prong sticking down. So we're actually going to be flying into Botswana. So yeah, so apologies to the purists who will be saying, oh, but you said this was a South African tour. Well, we're still in the south of Africa. We just won't be in South Africa. So there, slight little oversight. I mean, we could have flown over to another Upington airport, which is literally 3 miles away. Anyway, it is what it is. So yeah, little detour into Botswana for you. How's that? Beautiful weather. Our winds, bear in mind we're probably only going to get local info. Best runway for landing is going to be 02. So yeah, a northerly, straight and approach really. Now, I must mention I had a comment on my last South Africa video, on my last leg, which for some reason it wouldn't let me reply to. So I'm going to reply to it here. Basically, it's saying about the quality of the textures. So yeah, that will address that. Firstly, obviously, you're restricted by, well, however, if we're talking about the ground textures, you're obviously restricted by whatever Bing data is available, right? Which is not always particularly great or high resolution in every area. Secondly, obviously, I'm flying this in 2K. I was 4K, but I thought cut back to 2K, so you don't really notice much difference. But anyway, the point is, YouTube video outputs in 1080, you know, standard high definition, so probably going to lose a little bit of quality there. And not to mention, thirdly, I'm not running this on max settings. Reason being, whilst I could probably get away with it with this aircraft, I keep having problems that when I fly the Phoenix, that my whole system just crashes because it overtaxes the graphics card, basically. Couple with that also the fact that I've got lousy internet. Yeah, apologies for that. If we're talking about the aircraft, well, the BN2 Islander is a fun, great plane to fly. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't think the textures look too bad if we look around the cockpit here. I mean, yeah, granted, they could probably look a bit better in some areas, but on the whole, I mean, me, from a personal perspective, I'm quite happy with it. But yeah, certainly, it certainly could be graphically better. I'll just have to wait until such time I next upgrade my computer, but there we go. To be honest, I'm just happy that I've got rid of the blurry runways for now, it seems. So yeah, you know, as long as I can see a reasonable looking runway, I would take that. What I haven't seen so far, actually, certainly on this tour, is any animals. I mean, obviously not going to see any from up here, but so we're coming into land. You know, I thought we'd have like a giraffe going across the runway, herd of wildebeest, something like that. Pride of lions chasing me around the outside of the plane, but no, nothing. And interestingly enough, this leg is actually going to take us up to just outside. The Kgalagadi National Park. So yeah. So if maybe some, I don't know, lions can wander out See, now my map's frozen on little nav map again. I can't move it, and now I've got the blue circle of death. There we go. Yeah. Why, but I always imagine South Africa with more trees. But it's quite, at least in this part of South Africa. You know, I certainly didn't imagine jungle or anything like that, right? But I just imagined, like, yeah, more trees, but it's more like sort of, I don't know, semi-desert, savanna, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Certainly didn't imagine it being this yellow. Maybe, as I say, as we be like Australia, perhaps. When I travelled around Australia on the flight simulator, how different sort of the areas were. Biomes, if you like. Biomes? Yeah, I think biomes. Landscape beneath us now. Look at that. Yeah, quite a surreal landscape. Look at it. Although these white sort of, I guess, are they salt flats or something? I don't know, the texturing does look pretty bad on those. It's just like a white, white blob. But the rest of it looks pretty good. Right, look at that. So yes, we're just about to cross into the Botswana, or across the Botswana border rather, into Botswana. Pretty much where this almost looks like a dry riverbed arcs around. Oh, no, here's some trees. try and land this reasonably nicely. Let's trim up a little bit now. Keep an eye on that speed. Dial it back a bit. There's no pappies, of course, which makes judging my approach a little bit tricky. Don't want to come in too high, don't want to come in, conversely, don't want to come in too low. Right, a little bit off to the right now. Speed needs to dial back a bit, it's just still coming in a little bit fast. Constantly having to adjust my trim. So yeah, welcome to Botswana, everybody. I'll say that once more on the ground, actually. See a centre line or anything. This runway is not the best, is it? Getting buffeted by the wind as well, which really doesn't. Oh, look at this. Not sure what the wind's supposed to be actually, but it's making life interesting for us, that's for sure. That was rough, but the wind's made it tricky for us. As well as having a very bright runway with no discernible centre line. But anyway, we're on the ground. This is, you know, really what I expected more of Africa to look like, to be honest. Here we go, look, trees and still no animals. I'm not sure where the parking spaces are here. So as I said, we're literally just inside Botswana. Oh, I see, down on the right, okay. Literally just, I can always do that with my pedals. Literally just inside Botswana. So it's going to be fun reviewing this landing because we sort of came down, got horrendous wind on the short final there, and then floated it down before we pretty much smashed it into the ground. But the runway is so bright it is very difficult to judge the height. A real tricky one, this. Be interested to see what the landing rate was. It'll probably give me something really good actually, but it certainly seemed like it came down with a thump, that's for sure. Anyway, first of all, of course, we will park up and then... Okay, I've lost my engines. That's interesting. Why does it do that if I idle the throttle too much? It's really annoying. What the hell? Come on. I have no power. I've really got to switch this on again. Why it does that? It's a little quirk if you... Because we're not really at a high... I can understand if we were at a high altitude. And maybe I need to lean it more. Maybe I got it the mixture too enriched, perhaps. Could be that. I have to look into that. That could be what the problem is. I'm sure it's my own stupid fault either way. So let's just park here. So yeah, you'll see from the window view we've really got buffeted around on, look at it, that's mad, on short final there. We did our best to try and mitigate the effects. And then down we come, down we come. And then we sort of float it out a bit. And then go almost back up in the air a little bit. And then, actually, from that perspective, it doesn't actually look that bad. But we will now I think we're finally going to get the view we wanted. And see the difficulty we were having there. Look at that. And then, yeah, up in the air, because the wind caught us. I tell you what, actually, I don't think that landing was too bad. Let's go and see what Valanta thinks. We'll go from there. So yeah, as you can see, we headed up just over the border into Botswana, and it gives us a landing rate of 34. And I said it'd do that, didn't I? I would say that was probably more like 134. I mean, it's a better landing. In fairness, watching the replay, it's a better landing than I thought. Okay, you had a tricky approach as well as you saw, but yeah, I'm not sure how it calculates this landing rate. It must do it over a few seconds. Because that doesn't seem a fair reflection of the actual moment of touchdown at all. But anyway, there we go. We'll take that. Thank you very much for watching, and farewell for now.